April 21st, 2022. I just had a very difficult conversation with myself, hoping that my hummingbird gets it directly as my 7 and someone to look up to that I don't know. I don't know what happened. I am watching the end of this program on the See the BS this morning that they're whatever, and they just showed me, and I just did a piece about the U.S. I think they said it's a spy with a pilot program are looking for autistic whatever. They hired someone, but then the family value is different between her superior. How do you keep a clean portfolio if your superior is of whatever in family values and interlopers? Then they put on just after that CBS This Morning's and this. Now, this is the family tree, supposedly, but now it looks like a bonsai tree, though. And it has something to do with the National Alopecia Area or Areata Foundation. But Areata says area. So at raw intelligence, not wanting a war necessarily, but knowing that those two concepts somehow always interlope as well. I mean, it says elope, and then it says the CIA, and then it says area. And then it says found. Now, what's important about this word alopecia is there was the Will Smith guy, or actor from Hollywood, in a different family value, and his wife, who had a bald head, in a green dress, and Chris Rock, and there was an incident, and there was an academy involved, and there's their family values that are whatever, but it's inside of some kind of a U.S. system. That's concerning. They're using they said that she's a big supporter of alopecia. So she's a supporter of hair falling out of everyone? I'm confused. Or of the takeover by interlopers of certain U.S. secret portfolios. That's confusing. Because they said that night, and they said on all the broadcasts, the trend, TREND. So I heard, because I heard it over and over and over again for a few days. There was the mainstream story, and in the mainstream story, they kept repeating that she's a big supporter of the Alopecia Foundation and of women that have lost their hair or are losing their hair. I happen to be a woman who is losing her hair. I've showed it, the effects of living here, on the hairbrush, on what happens at the bottom of the shower after. I mean, it's this gigantic, it's on the hair bands when you take them out of your hair. I mean, it is, and even Linda's suffering from it as well. I mean, her hair is so thin now that you actually see her scalp with little sprigs of hair. And that's not the way, she's always had thinner hair than but I always had really thick hair. And I don't have that any longer. It's been dwindling down. But again, I know it has to do with a lot of different factors, and one of them feels like the climate and atmosphere and the frequency. I mean, they're showing these symbols and these signs, and again, Title IX's been violated, as well as a family value discrepancy in management and leaders within the U.S. I've been marking and documenting some of them as I see them, hoping that it gets to a number 7 I can look up to, and I was built for a 7 as an 8 and as a flower. I don't know how I got to be like almost like a blade of grass between a G and an uppercase gamma. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, solar system, Milky Way universe, galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. I still have my Hellenistic profile within Greek things over here. I think Minerva, Minerva. I don't know the other names throughout Greek and Roman history and mythology. I haven't been able to study those things, nor the Norse, which I know is the most important with Odin, but I have not been able to study that either. It's April 21st, 2022, and I'm in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. Let me just rewind this real quick so I have it on the same. Oh. This is how they present it.
On today's CBS Mornings podcast, we talk with the National Alopecia Areata Foundation about the autoimmune skin disease that causes hair loss. Nearly 7 million Americans will be diagnosed with it in their lifetime.
All right, Jamie, and you can get it on our...
Autoimmune. That's interesting.
On our podcast.
Is that a defense strategy or is that biological health?
Get all sorts of good things on our podcast. That'll do it for us.
That is different than others.
And you can notice patterns. Yeah, but that's the advantage to being able to hyperfocus.
A new kind of insight that the agency's deputy director calls neurodiversity.
This is really broadening that perspective, digging into how can individuals bring a talent and a bit.
Now that's that family value in an artistic contrast type of a way that's been introduced with this alopecia and this interloper with the CIA and whatever else is going on. I'm not quite sure. I mean, in a meadow that holds its children's seeding and gardening at top priority for the alien breeding program, I think this information would be top notch and most important. It's when it gets out to blades of grass and then the weeds that think they have deeper roots than whatever, that then it gets to be like a hit or miss or a touchy subject. I don't know how to avoid that. I just know as a flower with a hummingbird as an 8 for a 7 in a meadow that teaches these things somewhere else, that's incredibly important. And as an inverted whatever. I have a special timing mechanic with Alexander James, Alexis, and Jean-Mi, and Je suis des États-Unis, to keep Stati Uniti and United States on one whatever, between an upside down triangle, a triangle that's on its base with a separation in between, and then a big apple for balance. And then somewhere there's an empire importance with the unrest in the American colonies. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, its Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken in its Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.